Hello friends of the French Foreign Legion, I am greeting you. You are very welcome on my channel. Hello, welcome. Not a long time ago, one of you guys were asking me, hey Thomas, what was the most intense moment in your life? And this is a question I thought it over and I thought it over again. And I come to the conclusion that the most intense moment of my life was not during my time in the French Foreign Legion, not during my time in the army at all. It was when I was a civilian guy outside. And the most intense moment in my life was the moment when my wife has given birth to my son Jofiel 2 years ago. You know, actually I'm father of 3 own children, and I have a daughter. She is now 22 years old. 23. I have a second daughter, Emilou, 4 years old. First one's name is Julie. And I have Jofiel, who is 2 years old. So, and Julie, she was born in Corsica, in Bastia. It was in 1998. And this was a big adventure. It was an intense moment and a big adventure. You know, somewhere in the middle of the night, coming close to midnight, it was, my wife gave me green light. My first wife gave me green light. Hey, Thomas, we must go now. And we had to rush with the car from Calvi to Bastia in the middle of the night. And the roads were torn out, the holes and no light, you know. And I had an old Peugeot 205. So we rushed from Calvi to Bastia, came there maybe 1 o'clock in the night, after midnight, 1 o'clock a.m. And at this time I was still smoker. I was still smoking. But 1 hour later, when he has been in hospital in Bastia, I had no cigarettes anymore. And you know, in Germany, it's no problem. You take some coins, you go down to the street, put it in the automat, you know, in the machine, cigarette machine, and then you throw your cigarettes. But in France, and Corsica is a part of France, you don't have machines for tobacco or for cigarettes. So, and I asked the doctor, hey, how much time? And I was like, yeah, you know, how much time? And he told me, maybe 1 hour, maybe 5 minutes. I don't know. So I told him that I will be back slowly, and I will rush to the airport. It was about 30 kilometers away. And I rushed there to find a bar who was open, because in the bar I knew there has been a machine for tobacco, for cigarettes. I rushed there, I throw a packet of Marlboro, rushing back, smoking 3, 4, 5 cigarettes on the way back. And when I came there, okay, 10 minutes later, my daughter Julie was born. And the second one was Emilou. And this was a couple of years later, 4 years ago. And it was a home birth, a really home birth. And there was just 3 persons. Me, my wife, my pregnant wife, and a midwife. So this was a very intense moment because my wife gave birth to my daughter Emilou in a pool, you know, in a birth pool. And I cut the umbilical, it's a hard name for me, cordon. And this was very intense, you know. And but the birth of Jofiel 2 years later in time, this was, wow, this was untoppable. It was just fantastic, because we made the decision that there will only be 2 persons in present when my wife gave birth to Jofiel. Was me and my pregnant wife. No midwife, and I was the midwife, you know. So it was at home, a birth at home, only my wife and me. Birth was given to Jofiel in a basin, in a little swimming pool, you know, in a birth pool, and it was calm. The air was clear. Emilou was there. Everything was okay. We had music, good background music. The ambiente very good, and there was not so, for when my wife has given birth, there was not so much pain. It was smooth, it was soft. We decided ourselves. She had her own decided birth. And when Jofiel then came underwater, you know, it was me who took him for the first time in his hand. And I waited until the cordon umbilical cordon didn't pulse anymore. Maybe 15 minutes later, so I had Jofiel in my arm, and then I cut with a scissor the cordon. And I think this was the most intense moment in my life ever, you know? And I was the midwife. There were nobody, just me and my wife. But there was no risk, you know, because the hospital was maybe 10 minutes away. And when I called the urgent doctor, he could be here in 2 minutes. So no risk. And it was home giving birth. It was in the pool. It was just two-person present. And it was so lovely. It was so nice. And it was really, really intense. I think I cried. It was really, wow. You know, when I had my son in my hand. It was wow. It was, for me, it was like homecoming. Because, you know, I never had a father. And I was 59 years old when Jofiel was born. You know, you understand what I'm telling you? I never had a father, and I had my own son in my hands. You know, it was, for me, a voyage in the history, back as I was a little boy, but it was also a voyage in the future. The first one in the past, the next one in the future, you know. And Jofiel was my father, and Jofiel was me, and I was Jofiel, and my father was Jofiel. I don't know if you understand what I'm telling you here. Maybe I'm crazy, but it was such an amount of feelings and impressions and flashes coming back to my brain, coming into my brain. It was unbelievable, you know, unbelievable, stunning. And now I have Jofiel, my son. He's now almost 2 years old, and you know, I don't want to leave the house to buy bread, because I think my thoughts are, when I leave the house and I'm coming back, it was a dream. Jofiel is not there anymore. So I'm really afraid. But I should stop being afraid, because life is good, life is smooth, life is just perfect. Okay, thanks, brothers in arms. I wish you all to stay safe, stay in good shape, stay in good health. Amitié légionnaire, yours, Thomas Gast. By the way, no coffee, no working. Yeah. Excellent. And if there is somebody out there, or you, if you want to support me and my work here on YouTube, just go to the description of the video. There's a merch link. Click on it. Choose 1 or 2 parts. This is the best way to support Thomas Gast. Thank you. Bye-bye.